Is light really overpowered? Some sources say yes, but are they really? After this video, you might start to think otherwise. So here are 17 ways that you can counter light players and turn them into a thing of the past. One of the easiest counters to the cloaked shotgun combo is just a simple action. The second that you get hit by a stun gun, make a habit of instantly turning 180 degrees. Almost no light player will engage you from the front, especially since you probably would have seen them sneaking around with their cloak up if they were in front of you. So instead, they will always try stunning you from the sides or from behind. You'd be surprised how many light players I end up turning the table on, despite them getting the drop and even the stun on me, just from me reacting fast enough. Speaking of invis, if a light player does go invisible in front of you and you suddenly lose track of them, there is a chance that they've stopped moving. That's because when the light player is invisible, they'll be completely invisible as long as they stand still, and slightly visible with a bit of a cloaked shroud if they start moving. So if you do lose track of them, start shooting where you last saw them, and odds are you will catch yourself a light main. But these are just 2 tips, so if you for whatever reason still have a hard time keeping up with invisible light players, boy do I have a gadget for you. If you're a light player yourself, start equipping the thermal sight. This beautiful gadget will highlight any player within your field of view, no matter whether a smoke is in the way or if they're invisible. If you are on medium, you can start using the recon senses, which when activated will show the outline of any nearby enemies through walls, and if used correctly, has a near infinite uptime and allows you to pre-aim the lights before they even turn the corner. Using recon senses as a medium is a good idea in general, but it is especially useful against the light mains who rely on their invisibility to run around in the open. Just keep in mind that the recon senses don't highlight invisible players directly in your field of view. There needs to be some type of cover in the way for it to actually show them. A good workaround to this is pulling up something like your jump pad and holding the inspect key with your recon senses active, which now not only allows you to see enemies when it normally might be too bright to make them out against the background, but it will always let you see invisible lights even if they're right in front of you. And if you really don't like dealing with lights, you can also start running mines, especially the explosive ones. Now, I know that explosive mines have been nerfed to not one-shot a light recently. This doesn't stop you from just placing 2 right on top of each other in the same spot. The damage from this stacks, and it will let you deal 280 damage to anyone who steps on it instead of the usual 140. One of my personal underrated places to put a mine will be right in front of a closed door. Nobody ever checks it. Nobody. Another great way to counter light is of course by hitting the like button on this video so it reaches more people, which means more people will start countering light, which means that less people will play light, and maybe if this video goes far enough, we'll stop seeing light players altogether. One can dream. If you're in a ranked environment, you will see that there generally will be less and less light players as you go up the rounds or the ranks, and that's for a good reason. While light is annoying to deal with, one of the most surefire ways not to play into their strengths is by playing within a coordinated team and staying close to your teammates. If a light uncloaks and starts fighting one of you, chances are he might get a kill on his target, but if you play your cards right, one or both of your remaining teammates can get the trade on him, get that revive off, and leave you with a 3v2 situation because the enemy team will be 1 man down. Make sure not to go too far away from your teammates, and the light player will never get an opening to jump you. Sort of building off of that, if you do get stunned by a light, don't just stand there. Try to move around as much as you can, ideally with some slight strafes back and forth while trying to move yourself into cover, all while hip firing back towards them. Thanks to their tiny, measly health pools, combined with the overall strong hip fire most weapons have in this game, odds are you'll actually end up killing them, or at the very least get them low enough for your teammates to avenge you. If you're in a pre-made squad, start to communicate when you get attacked by the light. A good, concise call that you require assistance, as well as their health and their location, will help your teammates deal with them more quickly. The sniper isn't really that much of a threat, but if you want to deal with it more efficiently, be aware that if a sniper is aiming at you, they will give off this scope glint which reveals their position. You can either shoot back, which I really don't recommend, just get out of the way and keep their angle in mind. Odds are you can find their teammates nearby, and you can take a favorable 2v3 while their light player is off in La La Land. The grappling hook isn't that much of a problem to deal with, but I figured I'd bring it up anyways. A light mid-grapple will move in a predictable arc that you can track pretty easily, and if they for some reason end up grappling in towards you, keep in mind that they won't have another grapple for quite a while, meaning that you have all the odds in your favor and they should become an easy kill. As for the SH-1900 shotgun, which will hit really hard, your biggest bet will be knowing about how it works. Since it is a 2-pump shotguns, this makes it incredibly high risk and high reward. A light will always want to get in and shoot you from as close up as possible, but if they do whiff, they're gonna gonna want to disengage and reload and probably try again. If they suddenly appear, you'll probably take one pretty big shot of damage, but most of the time they can't kill you without the second one. So as soon as they appear, start dodging and moving around as unpredictably as you can to make them miss. Afterwards, it'll be your turn to shoot back, and all you need to do is deal 150 damage before the 2.5 seconds it will take for them to reload. That's really the gist for most of the weapons in Light's kit. All weapons have a short time to kill, but are usually really punishing, and if the Light doesn't get a one clip or enough burst damage to kill you, they will more often than not just turn into an easy kill. Focus on staying alive rather than dealing damage when they engage, and odds are you'll be able to walk out of the fight unscathed with another kill to the scoreboard. Staying alive has another benefit of allowing your teammates to save you when the Light is busy trying to kill you. And of course, as with all other classes, the Light can also pull off a so-called nuke, which is when you stick breach charges onto a barrel and throw it at an enemy to deal a lot of damage. It's not really a common strategy, but I have seen it once or twice. If you see a Light going for it, just shoot the nuke, or better yet, shoot them. Either way, they'll die in a moment's notice. If a Light has placed a motion sensor, you can either destroy it by shooting at it or punching at it, but it doesn't really cover that much ground, so you're better off just avoiding it and walking around the areas that it does cover if you don't want to be revealed for a longer period of time. But what about the evasive dash? As with many of your abilities, the real counter will be knowing how it works, which then allows you to easily outplay it. A Light player can dash in any direction that they are looking or wherever they are moving. They can hold up to 3 dashes at a time, which is enough to engage into, disengage from, or bounce around mid-fight. Most of the Light players will want to use the dash when they start getting shot at or if they have to reload, and you can use this to your advantage by expecting when they will be most likely to go for a dash, and then be prepared to flick wherever they're gonna want to go. While the Light player can sort of maneuver their dash to go higher or lower, it will always dash more or less the same range. Try to get used to how long this distance really is. As for the glitch grenade, not many Lights are using this yet, but they will in the near future, so I suggest learning about it. The glitch grenade takes 2.8 seconds before blowing up, causing anything, including players or placed gadgets, within a 3-meter radius to become glitched and unusable for the next 10 seconds. The glitch grenade, unlike some other grenades in the game, is very visible because it lets off sparks as it flies and before it pops off. So if you see one going your way, get out of its way, as if the Light hits one or more of your teammates, they'll have a massive upper hand in the upcoming fight. And of course, who can forget that the best way to counter Light and to practice the counters that I mentioned in this video will be playing in Bankit. That's because, for whatever reason, almost everyone only plays Light in this mode, which is a great way for you to get exposure to all the different builds, gadgets, and playstyles. You'll learn what to expect, and trust me, some exposure therapy will do you good. Ultimately, looking at all these counters, I kinda want to say that Light isn't that overpowered, just really cheesy if you don't know how to deal with them. But now, you do. I tried to avoid mentioning any build or gadget specific counters to make this video as broad and applicable for anyone as possible. If you guys have more counters, feel free to share them in the comments. If you want to get better at Apex, wait, what? If you want to get better at the finals, check out the video on the screen, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.